Hello. Let's make a custom skybox in Source. First thing we want to do, select our sky entity. Let's go into the material editor and see the default one. Yeah, so we're just going to need a new skybox texture. If you don't have one, we can go to Polyhaven, which has a lot of free HDR skyboxes. You want to be careful about which ones you select. We're going to be doing 4K. All skyboxes in Half-Life Alyx are 4K, so if you have a lot of crazy, sharp detail in your skybox, it's going to get kind of crunched. That's why a lot of Half-Life Alyx skyboxes are pretty overcast and blurry. That way their low resolution isn't apparent. So let's choose something that's not too crazy. This one looks nice. Reason it's nice is very clear point where the sun exists. It's a foggy horizon, and there's no detail on the ground or anything like that. This shouldn't be visible in your map anyway, but it's going to be important for your cubemap fog. So let's go ahead and download this. Make sure it's set to 4K EXR. Download. And let's bring that over from our downloads. Copy. We're now in our add-on folder under Content, Half-Life Alyx Content HLVR Add-on Skybox Tutorial. Let's make a new folder called Materials. It needs to be named Materials for this to work. And I'm going to make a sub-folder called Skybox. If you already have a Materials folder, just make a folder called Skybox in the Materials. Let's paste it here. I'm going to rename this to Skybox Tutorial. Make a new material and set the shader to sky. Alright, gotta save it. Save it in the same folder as your Skybox material, Skybox Tutorial, not EXR. And let's select the sky texture, which is this one. Make sure you have BC6H selected as your compression. That's going to be important for your cubemap fog. And set it in your skybox entity. Boom, done. Except for it's a massive supernova in the sky, and that's probably not what we want. Alright, no problem. Let's open it up in Photoshop. Yeah, as we can see, it's clearly really blown out. Let's just adjust the exposure here. Alrighty. Let's take it down quite a few notches. And take it down to -2. Getting some strange coloration near the sun. Take it back down, and let's adjust that curve just so slightly so that the sun is more of a point. Cool. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Let's go into Hammer. Should automatically recompile the material now that you've changed the texture. And that looks pretty good. So the sky looks good, but now our sun angle is mismatched. It looks like it's coming from up there, but our sun's over here. No problem. There's probably a better way to do this, but I'd just like to eyeball it. Let's go back to Hammer and select our sun entity. Let's check this while we're in preview mode, which can just be toggled by pressing F6. And what I typically do is I line my viewport up with the sun position so that the sky or the sun entity is right in front of the sun. And then I align the angle with the sun, just like that. Let's adjust the color as well. Looks like our sun is a little bit yellow here, so it's kind of closer to sunset. You can also use a color picker. It's probably the more accurate way to do it. Alright, I think that's pretty good. And let's see how it looks in Engine. Nice. Alright, that looks pretty naturalistic to me. Probably be a little bit warmer, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's go back into Hammer. Alright, so one last thing we're going to want to do is create a cubemap fog for this specific skybox. What that basically means is it takes the MIPS of this texture, the skybox texture, and uses it to blur out into a fog that matches the exact color of the texture. Let's go to our skybox material. Let's make a new entity, cubemap. Just put that up here with the rest. And you're going to notice we don't have a vtex file for this exact cubemap. We can create that manually. Let's go to our Skybox material folder. Create a new text file. Skybox tutorial. Let's just name it vtex. And you can set that to open with Notepad if you haven't already, and it's obviously blank. I have a link in the description that you can go to get to the paste bin that has the information this vtex needs. Let's go to that right now. Just copy this information, paste. Make sure the string name is correct for the texture location. So that's, for us, it's materials, Skybox, and don't forget the folder. If this is incorrect, your cubemap fog will not render correctly. You'll just get purple squares. And name that the same as our Skybox EXR file. Oh, it's compiling. It should show up in our content browser, no problem. All right. Already it seems to be working. That's nice. All right, so now that we have our cubemap fog properly set up, let's put some giant blocks to act as buildings, fading out into the distance. Just copy a handful of these, compile. All right, as you can see, looks like things are properly fading out into the distance. Could probably adjust those values a little bit, but for the purposes of the tutorial, looks fine for me. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it's useful. Happy mapping.